It's certainly that time of the season in the NFL. There are guys injured. There's questions all around. You're trying to piece it together, and really the tough teams will survive. The teams that are able to navigate this time of the season will be the ones punching their ticket to the playoffs. And in fact, we have several NFC teams that have their opportunity to clinch a playoff spot. For the Cleveland Browns this Sunday, they face a team facing their own problems when it comes to injuries. Christian Kirk going to need core surgery. I don't know. Doug Peterson was trying to get to with Trevor Lawrence. We'll hear from him coming up. But we know Lawrence sustained that ankle injury. I don't think he's playing, but we'll hear from Doug Peterson coming up. And the Browns, we've had to just move past our starting quarterback being out. And it's kind of interesting that we go into a game where it's the injuries not at the quarterback position that I'm circling, that I'm wondering about. And they are positions, and particularly one player who's almost as important as a quarterback, that I wonder if they're going to be able to suit up Sunday. When the chips are down, you need your best players out there. And frankly, I think 3 of the 5 best players on the Cleveland Browns might not suit up, or if they do, they're not going to be the same. That's a tough way to play football. Who's the most important on that list? We'll discuss it all this morning right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. And what a morning, Guardians. Yeah! God, do I love draft lotteries. They always work out for us here in Cleveland, man. Well done. Rocking my All-Star Game shirt for the Guardians this morning. Well done, Guards. We won't see that guy for 5 years, Ryan, but nice job, Guards. Well done. 2% chance.
Yeah, Matt, it was cool to see. I was definitely excited. Don't get me wrong. But, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking,
we'll get into
it.
I know.
Who's on the big board?
Trust me, I know.
I don't even know prospects. I'm like, who are we even drafting?
The one draft that this town has never given a damn about. Now all of a sudden, hey, who's our number one guy? It's some high school kid, probably 18 years old. But nice job for the Guards. There's a bigger conversation to be had about the Guardians that we will have this morning coming up, probably about 20 minutes. It's so hard with this team, and is that... It's like the pizza party in the office, right? Like when things are going so bad, you whip up a pizza party and that fixes everything. It's kind of does it really help with the Guardians? I don't know. We'll get to that. We have a Cavs game tonight. Huge matchup against Orlando. We'll do a typical boost, Ryan. We're on it when it comes to the NBA.
Yeah.
We are close.
We really are.
We really are. So we'll do a typical boost. We usually do that. We'll do that at 9:30 this morning. I'll do this. Anybody out there that wants to participate in our boost. So this is what we do. We will send a boost to Tipico, our friends at Tipico. Download the app, use the code BIGPLAY100, deposit and bet $25, and you get $100 in bonus bets. So Ryan has a leg. We'll do a 3-leg for tonight. Ryan will pick one. I'll pick one. If anybody out there wants to contribute a leg of the parlay, I'd like to include the fans with that. So pick whatever you want. You want to take the Cavs spread. You want to take Donovan Mitchell points. We were close with that Jared Allen points and rebounds. Maybe something for Evan Mobley tonight. And you can do something with the Magic. You think Paolo Banchero is going to go off. Okay, pick that. We'll do 3 legs. We send it to Tipico, and they always boost it. And the last boost, we're in the 700s we did one time, plus 700 on a boost. So if you got one, tweet it at us this morning, at Matt Fontana83, at Ryan Tyler33, or at the show, at Matt Fontana Show, where we're streaming live. We'll get to that. We got Time Hop. We got the bracket I sent out, the best classic rock band in honor of the Stones coming here. Stones are losing right now, Ryan. Not to say I'm terribly upset by that, but the Stones are losing in Group 1.
Yeah, they didn't get my vote, so.
Who'd you vote for?
Who was in that group?
AC/DC. Because AC/DC's got I got my vote there, so that's what we got.
Was that the group with...
Stones, AC/DC, Rush, and Skinner. Actually, I lied. I voted Skinner.
I voted Skinner.
I voted Skinner there. So it's a close one. So vote at Matt Fontana Show. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Also, playoff pictures for all the teams. I thought this was interesting from Adam Shine. The teams that he loves, likes, and hates that are on the bubble. Browns maybe on that list. And then Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler. They always do their, Week 14 latest buzz. They talk Defensive Player of the Year. Is Miles still in that conversation? He was the favorite, heavy favorite at a point. He's injured. He didn't even record a stat last week. Is he still in that conversation? We'll get to all that coming up. But we do start in a way with Miles this morning because the Browns enter Sunday with 3 of their 5 best players. Would you agree, even on a full team, that Amari Cooper, Denzel Ward, and Myles Garrett are 3 of your 5 best players? I think Myles is your best player. Myles Garrett, without a doubt, is your best player. I think Nick Chubb is in that conversation, and then I would put Deshaun Watson in that conversation.
I would hope that our 200
yeah, I would say. And then Amari.
Top 5.
And the thing is, Teller and Bitonio would kind of be like right there.
No, I'd agree with you, man.
But especially, make no, with Chubb and Watson out, like certainly for Sunday, Garrett and Cooper and Denzel Ward are 3 of your 5 best players. And we saw an unfortunate reality of what this team looks like without Denzel Ward and without Amari Cooper. And I guess you could make the case that we saw what it was like without Myles Garrett. That's a scary world to live in. I don't want to live in that world. That's scary. And there's an opportunity. I guess opportunity is the wrong word because that's a positive thing. There's a chance that you basically don't have all 3 of those guys Sunday. I'm concerned about Amari Cooper clearing concussion protocol. I hope he does. Denzel with the neck or shoulder, excuse me. I thought it was a neck for the longest time, but it's his shoulder. I mean, that is,
Damn, what's with these shoulders?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, like, just when you said that, it kind of made me think that the NFL, rightly so, is investing all of their research into concussions. They have helmets. They run that ad. They have specific helmets for specific players to try to avoid concussions for a running back versus a quarterback. And concussions and injuries are inevitable. When you play a football game, that your job is to put another human being on the ground that does not want to go down to the ground, there are going to be injuries and collisions, and it's unavoidable. But they're putting all this research towards the concussion part of it. But yeah, I'm asking a question. Are shoulder pads up to par? I mean, sometimes they're just hits, but you talk to any former NFL player, there is not a part of their body that does not get ravaged by playing football. They got bad ankles, they got bad knees, they got bad backs, they got bad shoulders, they got bad. You ever see the hands of some NFL players all screwed up? And then, unfortunately, have to deal with concussions, too. But you're right. The shoulder injuries, maybe specifically for the Browns, are it. 3 really, really bad ones right now. And for Ward, I would really hope that a couple of games off would help. But it's the same thing with Deshaun Watson. Is this an injury that a couple of games off is really not going to help? You need him back. You need Amari. And then, like, of the 3, I'm most confident Myles is going to play. I'm second most confident that Denzel is going to play, and I really don't have much confidence that Amari Cooper is going to play. We're going to post our Twitter question this morning at Matt Fontana Show. If you could have one of these players be 100% on Sunday, who would you pick? Myles, Amari, or Denzel? We'll post that up at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there and vote on our Twitter question. If you could pick one to be 100%, you get a magic wand, and Amari's not dealing with the concussion or the rib injury. Can't forget that, too. Denzel's shoulders fixed or Myles' shoulders fixed. Who would you pick? And I think it's twofold. Number one, what they mean to the team, what they mean to the Cleveland Browns, and then what they mean for the opponent. So let's start with the first one. What these 3 guys mean to the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett is your best player. He is your best player. And it seems like the defense is predicated on Myles Garrett sacking the quarterback. At least that's kind of what it views, or what when he doesn't play all that well and when he's injured, you see what happened. Denzel Ward is a similar but not as important as Myles. They want to play man. They want to blitz. Denzel Ward's a very good man cover corner. You're missing your number 1 corner. That impacts your defense. And then you get to Amari Cooper. And I just feel like the entire offense isn't right without Amari Cooper. Where it took the Browns a little time to understand what this offense looks like without Nick Chubb. And that's something that we will discuss in the future and when we look back on the year probably, because Ryan, we know, even though that was 3 months ago at this point, right? I still don't think they've recovered from losing Nick Chubb. That offense still does not look like what it's supposed to. Now, yes, okay, Deshaun Watson not being out there is the other giant wrench into that. But then it seemed like it went to all Amari Cooper, where if they were going to throw the football, the quarterback more often than not was looking in the direction of Amari Cooper. Now he might not be out there. And you saw a good chunk of Sunday's game with Joe Flacco. Sure, there's a change there. The offense is nothing. And I was critical of the receiving core, maybe a little too much. I used the trash word. That was probably wrong. They stink. They stink. That receiving core without Amari Cooper stinks. And I'm not here to revisit the Donovan Peoples-Jones trade. I'm not here to revisit the Elijah Moore trade. What can you do with Cedric Tillman and David Bell? You can include the tight ends and all that. They stink. They're not good when Amari Cooper's not out there. I can make the case for any three of those guys. Now, the other thing, so I talked about the two areas. One, the impact that Amari Cooper, Denzel Ward, and Myles Garrett have on the Browns. Now, what they have against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, Amari, that Jacksonville defense is okay. They're not great. They have a good pass rusher in Josh Allen, but it's more about the offense. Then you flip over to the defense. They have, without Christian Kirk, still Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley, who are good. Eric Ebron, who's very good at tight end. So that's Denzel. And then Myles Garrett is facing an offensive line where their left tackle, that what was his name? Walker? The guy that stepped on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, from Georgia.
Yeah. And then I think they have Greg Little. Not that Greg Little, the other Greg Little is their right tackle. Not that one, the other one. What is the other one doing? If you say anything about parking tickets, you can take a lap.
No, I was just laughing.
You remember that? Walker Little is his name.
No, Matt, I was just laughing because you said you meant to say Evan Ingram.
Not Greg Little. Who am I thinking? Walker Little is the guy, not Greg Little.
Yeah, you meant to say Evan Ingram, but you said Eric Ebron, and I just haven't.
Oh,
heard,
did I? I'm sorry.
I haven't heard Eric Ebron's name in so long. It just made me laugh.
Sorry.
I remember Eric Ebron. He was good.
First round pick out of Detroit. You're right. I'm sorry. Evan Ingram is who I meant to say. Greg Little, offensive tackle. Oh, no, he's in Miami. Oh, no, he's a free agent. I take that back. He was drafted by Miami. But there was an offensive lineman named Greg Little. I'm sorry. Walker Little is their left tackle. You're facing a backup quarterback. I'd like to get some pressure in his face. There's another conversation we had about how upset I am with the rest of the pass rushers outside of Myles Garrett. So there's your impact on the other team. And then the final area, I'll give you a third one, is the relative health of these guys. When you talk about if you could pick one to be 100%, Myles is still probably going to play in this game, just not be 100%. So you might then lean, I would rather have Denzel Ward, who I think, again, everybody's talking torn labrum. And I don't know what that feels like. I could text one of my best friends because he has a torn labrum. He's had one since college. He does not play in the NFL, though, unfortunately. Plays golf. Pretty good, but I don't know how that translates to the NFL. I don't want to put that on Denzel. That's not fair. If you can't play, you can't play. I'm leaning towards I hope he really plays. And then you could wave the wand and just say concussion, go away from Amari Cooper, which can't happen. But the impact of all three of these guys is going to be felt. It's going to be a really, really hard thing for the Cleveland Browns to have to overcome. 3 out of your 5 best players are out, on top of all the other crap that they've had to deal with, on top of everything else that they've had to deal with. So if you could pick one player to be 100% healthy on Sunday, who would you pick? Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, or Amari Cooper? I'll go first on this one this morning, Ryan, because I just clicked my vote, and it's Amari Cooper. It's Amari Cooper. There was nothing about that offense that I felt good about when he went out. And I think they're going to try to run the ball a little bit more. I've been in favor of giving more carries to Kareem Hunt. They can't throw when Amari's not out there. And especially on a defense, if he's out, they will literally blanket Elijah Moore and say somebody else beat us. If Cedric Tillman goes off for 140 yards, so be it. David Bell scores 3 touchdowns, we'll live with that. But you know that Jacksonville defense, when Amari Cooper's not on that field, they will have no fear. They will have no fear. Defensively, you look at some of those stats that we brought up, that some of the big numbers from Puka and Cooper Kupp did not come against Greg Newsome and MJ Emerson. I'm going to grab onto those and hold on to those for the day and say that there's a world that the defense can piece it together without Miles and without Denzel. It's unlikely. I don't like how that looks, but you could do that. I don't think this offense can piece it together without Amari Cooper. So I'm going to vote Amari Cooper on that, Ryan. I am. Out of the three, Denzel, Miles, and Amari, I'm saying I need Amari at 100%. And, of course, he is the longest shot to play in this game. So that's where my vote goes. Please cast yours.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I'm still kind of
we do here on the show.
Kind of thinking about it, but I guess right now I would say Miles, just in the sense of you're going against CJ. So is it Beathard or Beathard?
Beathard. CJ Beathard.
Beathard? Okay.
Former Big Ten guy.
Going against CJ Beathard.
He didn't transfer. Or did he? I don't think he did.
He's in his 12th year of eligibility. Anyway.
Could you imagine a guy that comes back from the NFL and he's like, hey, I got eligibility still?
Yeah.
He did not transfer, by the way. He redshirt. He did it the right way.
Good
he
for
did
him.
the right way, all you guys out there transferring. CJ Beathard sat and waited for his turn at Iowa.
Good for him. Loyal guy.
Redshirted, and then it was a backup in 2013.
Nice.
I'm sorry. He was a backup for the beginning of 2014. And then Jake Rudock suffered an injury, and here came CJ Beathard.
Nice.
He stuck it out, man.
Yeah, I would say Miles.
Dude, he was a third-round pick. Sorry.
No, you're good.
He was a third-round pick for the 49ers. Third-round pick.
What year was that?
2017.
Okay.
He's 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed everything that you were trying to say.
I would say Miles, just in the sense of you're playing CJ Beathard, right? So you expect that to be a pretty steep downgrade from Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
And we saw last week against the Rams, without Myles Garrett, unfortunately, it seems like our pass rush is pretty invisible, non-existent, really.
What is up with that?
Yeah, so that
seriously
sucks.
I mean,
and so you're if you get that pass rush back, you're kind of afforded, or not maybe afforded, but it definitely softens that blow of Denzel Ward being gone from the secondary. So you won't have to, expect as much from MJ Emerson and Greg Newsome, but I get what you're saying with Amari Cooper, and that is going to be so tough because realistically, how are you going to move that damn ball without Amari Cooper? But I would just say Miles didn't impact this whole in the sense of it's probably going to be another ugly defensive game, and we're just going to have to win it that way.
So I want to go back to a tweet that I actually got yesterday from Dog Pound Punisher on Twitter. And I'm assuming they were listening back to the show because they sent me a question. They said, are the backups to Denzel more effective than the backups to Nick Chubb? The answer is no. Now, I'm sorry, I didn't get the comparison of Chubb to Ward in all of this. We were talking Kareem and Jerome Ford. But I still think there's a good question there. When you talk about the replacement players, another reason why I voted Amari Cooper. I trust I trust MJ Emerson and Greg Newsome to step up more than I do Elijah Moore and David Bell and Cedric Tillman. And then on the defensive line, they should be one of the best equipped units to try to step up with Miles not being out there. But the issue is, I was going to say the issue that Miles' impact on the rest of the defensive line was greater than Amari's impact on the rest of the receivers. But I think that's up for a debate too. Because, it makes pass rushing pretty damn easy when Myles Garrett's on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
And I still don't think they were doing all that effective. But the corners, that should be, of the groups we're discussing right now, that is the group that you should feel the best about stepping up with Denzel being out. And I know MJ's had a real rough stretch of games. It happens. And Greg Newsome is, I don't know what Greg Newsome is. Can you indulge me on a quick tangent here real quick? Do you think the Jed Wills fifth-year option impacts their decision with Greg Newsome's fifth-year option? That's a spicy thought, isn't it? Because you got two guys So Jed Wills, they're both first-round picks. Does everybody know about the fifth-year option with first-round picks? Let me explain it real quick. When you draft somebody in the first round, they are slotted on their contract. It is a standard 4-year deal. That's just standard. Then you have a deadline that you do in between years 3 and 4 to pick up a fully guaranteed fifth-year option. The point is to give the team some flexibility on if a guy's a bust or if the guy is really good, to give you more time to sign them to an extension, and they get like a pseudo franchise tag. So we all know the Browns last offseason picked up the fifth-year option for Jedrick Wills, and he's owed, I think, $12-point-something million fully guaranteed next season. There's no question on that. He gets that money as part of this deal. Well, Greg Newsome has the same thing for this offseason. Now, I don't know if it'll be quite that amount because it matters where you got drafted, and Jed Wills was higher than Greg Newsome. But they're in similar boats. You had more expectations, I think, for Jed Wills. When you drafted him, you thought, here's our franchise left tackle. He's not lived up to that. Now, he's not been bad, but he's not lived up to that. And then you have Greg Newsome, who, again, early in his career, you felt really good about a running mate for Denzel Ward. And it's just not been really fully what you expect it to be. So that's another thing for this offseason. And I wonder if the Browns will be a little gun shy on that. It's the same thing. Here's a guy that has not come out and like knocked you over your head, knocked you unconscious that he is without a doubt picking up that fifth-year option. There's two extremes. Guys that are just trash, and you know they're not getting picked up, and that is not Jed Wills nor Greg Newsome, and guys that are all pros in their first couple of years, and there's no question you're picking up, and they're certainly not that either. So we were talking Greg Newsome here for a second. It kind of got me thinking on that they could be a little gun shy when it comes to that decision. But anyway, back to Newsome. You should feel better about MJ and Greg Newsome stepping up in Denzel's absence versus everybody else. Maybe even more than the D-line. Maybe even more than that. But that's why, like, it all just kind of circles back to Amari Cooper for me. Like, that receiving core, that has got to be the number one priority. I'm not trying to get to the offseason. We still got football left, and I'm happy for it. They got to do something. And there were groups of people, rightly so, I guess, when you follow the money, that said, Amari Cooper's time might not be long here in Cleveland. You better keep him at this point. There are people crunching the numbers saying, there's a world that Amari Cooper's not here anymore. Well, I need a world that he's going to be here. And they're going to have to finagle some money to get that done. But cast your vote on our Twitter question this morning. At Matt Fontana Show. If you could pick one player to be 100% healthy on Sunday, who would it be? Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Amari Cooper. I went with Amari Cooper. Ryan, did you cast your vote?
Yeah, I said Myles.
You said Myles. 55% of the vote right now early. Myles, 34% Denzel, only 11% Amari Cooper. Do you think people are swayed because they just kind of know Amari's not going to play? Or do you really think it's just Myles? Or are you going off of that we gave up 30-odd some points to the Rams and everybody goes, we got to have defense here?
Yeah, and it's just the fact that we've seen Myles completely win us a game,
Yeah. I want to get to that coming up. We'll get to that in about 20 minutes here. Dan Graziano and Jeremy Fowler. Is Myles Garrett out of the Defensive Player of the Year conversation? We'll get to that coming up. But I want to hear from Doug Peterson. So as much as we're dealing with everything, so is Jacksonville. So the news yesterday, Christian Kirk is going to have that core surgery. A lot of these guys get those like sports hernias. I know Myles had to deal with it. I think, Amari Cooper dealt with it. And he's going to have surgery, so he's out. But all attention is turned to Trevor Lawrence. So he get his ankle turned. He got it stepped on Monday night. He left in a boot. He was on crutches. They're getting all these tests and kind of stuff done. Let's start with Doug Peterson here. Yesterday, sound courtesy of Jacksonville. First up, Ryan, here's just an update on Trevor Lawrence and kind of where he stands as of yesterday.
Don't have any information yet on Trevor. We're still evaluating him, so he'll have more, tests and things done here tonight and tomorrow, so I'll probably have a better update for you tomorrow. But look, it's part of the game. It happens, and it's unfortunate, but next guy up has to be ready to go and play.
I'm sure Trevor Lawrence, he's in that walking boot, and they're doing everything. He's at his house. Teams will send trainers to their house, sitting there Players are sleeping on their couch and guys are like massaging their ankles or something. No, they don't do that, but they're doing everything they can. Now, here's another interesting part from Doug Peterson. When he was asked about the possibility of Trevor Lawrence playing this weekend, here's what he had to say yesterday.
I want to make sure that Trevor's 100%, before I put him or any player back on the field. It's just a matter of their, as a player too, the tolerance that they can withstand with any injury. And you just don't want to risk if the player is not in any harm or could risk further damage to the area, then you have to consider it. But definitely don't want to risk further injury.
He's not playing then. He's not playing. You don't want to risk further injury. That's a week off of an ankle injury that looked pretty bad, and he is your franchise quarterback. This isn't a left tackle. This isn't your linebacker. This is Trevor Lawrence. In a game that they need, I guess the positive would be that Houston has put pressure on Jacksonville. Something else we get to Fowler and Graziano. The biggest division races. And a lot of people look to the NFCs, but the AFC South, it's on, man. It's on. The Colts are there, not so much, and Houston is right there. If Houston had lost, then maybe Jackson will be like, all right, we can sit Trevor Lawrence and we're still in a good spot. That's not the case. That is not at all the case. So we got to thank the Houston Texans. We'll see in a couple of weeks, but they're putting pressure on Jacksonville. So I'm sure that this is going to be a really hard decision. But there's no way you can play Trevor Lawrence in this game. There's no way. Absolutely not. I'm going to say it's not malpractice, but seeing how bad that was, and I guess we should hold out, I guess if you're Jacksonville, hope that, miraculously he wakes up and it's all gone. I always think of, you ever watch Mighty Ducks growing up? Oh, God,
No.
don't do this to me, Ryan. Are you
No.
that young?
I know.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Get out. It's a great trilogy. It's one of the few movie trilogies. The second one is better than the first one.
Is that the hockey one? Mighty Ducks? Is that a no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
yeah.
Okay. Never was a big hockey guy.
I
Can't
have
be
to
that-
remember.
if
I
I-
have to remember you're 22 years old.
If I've never seen it, it can't be that good.
It's. You want to know the sad thing about that is I know that you didn't watch Mighty Ducks at a sleepover in 2003. You missed that.
It's
You
very
missed that
true.
opportunity.
Very true. I would have been
I am.
still in diapers.
I need to recompose myself for here a second. You've never seen the Mighty Ducks?
No.
Wow.
Not even a trailer.
Dude, come on. Emilio Estevez, Gordon Bombay, Minnesota Miracle Man. No, bless it. Come on. Anyway, there's a part in the second movie where their star player gets hurt. He hurts his wrist, and he shows up for the big game, and he goes, I woke up and the pain was gone. So that's what I was talking about with Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Go, please, the first one or the second one? You don't need to watch the third one. The third one
first
sucks.
one.
First
I
one's
think-
okay.
I think
The
whole-
Hawks, it's not worth winning if you can't win big. Man, you've never seen the Mighty Ducks. It's on the list. It's worth a watch. D2, the Mighty Ducks. They take on Iceland in the finals of the Goodwill games. They go out and get a bunch of new players from all across the country. First one's not bad, but the second one's way better. So, all right. Well, I missed on that reference. Hopefully everybody else got it. Expect some mean tweets in your Twitter inbox. I'm not seeing Mighty Ducks, but
That's fine.
that's neither here nor there. So there's a chance that, he wakes up and everything's all good. But hearing Doug Peterson say, I'm not going to put him out there unless he's 100%, and that's coaches speak. He says that about any player. But it's Trevor Lawrence. He is your star player. He is your 100% star player. I don't think he's going. I really do not think that he's going to go for this game on Sunday. So that helps the Browns, certainly. But you can't sleep on C.J. Beathard. You can't sleep on this team. But it's just all indications are that he's not going to play. I want to talk a little Guardians quick because they got the first overall pick last night, and it was exciting. But when I look at the problem is the Guardians, I'm not saying not deservingly so, they catch a bad rap in this town. People call the Dolans cheap. They're upset when they don't spend on players. So it's like I said to start the show, it's like the pizza party in the office. Things are going bad. It's on fire, but you go, oh, well, here's this little thing. And there's a reason to be excited. I'm happy that it worked out for them. But as we know, this player, whoever they pick, is at minimum 3 years away from impacting this team. What this team will look like is a question. And I had somebody say this to me, Ryan. There's a chance that whoever they draft, they don't even play with Jose Ramirez. Think about that. Like, that is how much turnover there might be with the Guardians. Is Stephen Vogt even still the manager by the time that this player comes up? And how often do first overall picks in baseball get traded or bust out? Baseball is, I know there's crapshoots in all the sports. But in baseball, let me run through some of the recent first overall picks. And I'm going to take away the last 3 because they're not even up, right? Do you know who Spencer Torkelson is for the Detroit Tigers? We see him. He's a good player, okay.
Is he a catcher?
Third baseman. First and third baseman. Yeah. Then before that, Adley Rutschman, the catcher for the Orioles. Okay, he's an all-star. That's pretty good. Before that, Casey Mize, Royce Lewis, Mickey Moniak, Dansby Swanson, who, by the way, got traded. Did he ever even play? I think he might have quickly played for Arizona before he flipped, went to Atlanta, now he plays in Chicago. Before that, everybody knows the story of Brady Aiken, right?
Who?
You don't know Brady Aiken?
No.
Indians drafted him. So here's the story on Brady Aiken. He was a high school pitcher. I think he was left-handed. I don't remember. I think he was. And he was like this kid that went to the IMG Academy and, like, you know, as an 18-year-old kid knew, like, I'm some star, right? So he gets drafted by the Astros. And you know in baseball that they have a big thing about signing bonuses and all that kind of stuff, right? So the Astros do their physical on Brady Aiken. And they go, yeah, there's something in your elbow that we don't like, man. He goes, fine, blank off. I'm not signing with you. He goes, I think, back to IMG somehow. In, like, his next start, he retired 2 batters, goes, my arm hurts. He needs Tommy John surgery. He then goes back into the draft the next year. The Indians took him in the first round. He never made it to the majors. Never made it to the majors as a first overall pick. There was that Mark Apple kid, or Apel, or whatever his name was the year before. Same thing, nothing. Now, how about this stretch? 2009, Strasburg. 2010, Bryce Harper. 2011, Garrett Cole. And 2012, Carlos Correa. Those guys worked out. But another name that came up, you know about Matt Bush? 2004. This kid was prospected to either be a starting pitcher or a power hitter. Had drinking problems. Got kicked out of basically 3 organizations. He didn't make his major league debut until he was almost 30. He did a workout. I don't know why I remember this story. He did a workout for a major league team in the parking lot of the Golden Corral that he was working at because he was on work release from prison and could only go to his home or his job. So he left his job on a break at the Golden Corral to go into the parking lot to pitch for a major league team to see what his velocity was. And it's a sad story because he battled alcohol problems. And he eventually made it. The whole point is, how do I know that this guy's the savior? Whoever they pick. And a savior in a relative term. I was excited about it. I'm happy about it for the Guardians. I don't know how long it'll get. Like, once the draft comes around, that'll be cool. And the draft won't be until, like, June. And you got to wait for it. And I'm sure I'll get excited about it. But that's the thing. Am I going to be drafting Garrett Cole or am I going to draft Brady Aiken? Right? Like, you don't know. You have no idea. It's such a crapshoot. Then the other thing I wanted to ask you. Do you think lotteries work in sports? So this was for those that don't know, this was only the second year for baseball that they instituted a draft lottery. And people are pissed about Oakland. Oakland lost, 111 games? They have like the 5th pick or something. 4th or 5th pick because of the lottery. The Guardians had a 2% chance to pull the number 1, and they did. And the leagues institute the lotteries in sports that are easily tankable. Baseball, borderline tankable. Basketball sure as hell is tankable, and we know hockey is too. So they introduced this draft lottery, and I'm sure, that's exciting things to watch. I don't know how many people watch it on TV. I guess shout out to Brad Paisley. I got to take on Brad Paisley, man. He's a fake Browns fan. You want to know how I know that? So Brad Paisley, country superstar, he was the one that opened the envelope last night for the Guardian. So I appreciate it for the good karma, man. And he claims that he's this giant Cleveland fan. And I don't remember the story on how, why, or whatever. But the reason I think he's a little phony as a Browns fan was the year we did Hard Knocks. He showed, I think it was Hard Knocks or something. There was a behind-the-scenes video. And he's at practice. And Joel Bitonio, our all-pro left guard, one of the longest tenured members of this team, comes up to introduce himself to Brad Paisley. Brad Paisley had no idea who he was. And I go, you phony. I go, you phony. Now, granted, here in Cleveland, we know the third string linebacker. We know everybody on the roster. I get it. But that was Joel Bitonio. If you were any Browns fan, you would know who Joel Bitonio is. And Brad Paisley goes, oh, hi, who are you?
Nice
to meet you.
Can I clip this and see if Brad will defend his
I would love to hear his
Cleveland
defense. I've maintained that for years. And I'm not somebody that likes to call out fandom. I hate when people do, you're not a true fan. You're not a real fan. You can be a fan of whoever you want. Like, I hate doing that. I really do. But it's always stuck with me with Brad Paisley. It was a behind-the-scenes video. Joel Bitonio had to introduce himself to Brad Paisley, a noted Browns fan who didn't know who he was. So, sorry to rip on Brad Paisley this morning. Thank you for the first overall pick with the Guardians. But do you think lotteries work? Do you actually think that they sway off tanking? Because this would be a prime example to say, yeah, look what the A's did, and they don't get any relief. I still don't think it helps. I really do not think it helps. I'm not anti-lottery. They can keep it. That's fine. And frankly, for this town, it's worked out over and over and over and over and over again for us, especially in the NBA. This is the first time the Guardians have ever had the first overall pick. Did you know that?
I did know.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. I like the lotteries. You have to have some system in place to avert teams from tanking. Whether it really is that effective in doing that, I don't know. I mean, clearly in this case, right, that sucks for the A's. Do I really care? No.
No, I don't.
We've gotten fortunate.
No.
We've had good luck with lotteries. I like them. I mean, I think it adds intrigue to something that otherwise would be kind of boring, bland.
The thing for me...
I don't know how effective it really is.
And I would say take a page out of the NFL, because the NFL doesn't have that problem. Why? The NFL is set up for everybody to go 500. The NFL wants everybody to be 8-9 or, whatever, and they can't do 8-8 anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, they set it up because they want everybody to be equal on how they do the scheduling and how they do the draft. And baseball and basketball are different because they're longer sports and it's easier to tank and all that kind of stuff. But we know there's tanking in football, too. We know that there's tank. They fire coaches when they don't tank, when they're supposed to. They fired Frank Reich in Carolina. Why, I don't know. But, well, I know why. They don't have a first-round pick. That's right. They had to give it up for Bryce Young. There's tanking in football. Make no mistake that there is tanking in football. That happens. And it's in sports. So I don't think the lottery does anything for it. They want to keep it, that's fine. But there is no world that they try to sit here and tell me, oh, yeah, that really helps. That really, staves off the tanking. Not at all. Not at all. And even just real quick on baseball, it's so, and we figured it'd be this way. Isn't it funny to kind of see Shohei Ohtani has stopped everything? There's the winter meetings, usually deals are happening left, right. Nobody's doing anything until he picks. You see, he met with the Dodgers. Sat down with Dave Roberts.
Ohtani did?
Yeah. Yeah. They sat down for a couple hours. I think, are the Cubs still in that? I think. It's just incredible. Incredible. And I'm not knocking it. It's great. But he gets to decide which team gets to pay him $500 million.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That's great. That's pretty great for Shohei Ohtani. But he has slowed everything down. Shohei Ohtani reportedly told a clubhouse source during the season that he liked the Dodgers and the Blue Jays if he ever left the Angels.
The Blue Jays would be hilarious.
He also told the source he could never see himself in New York.
Good.
Yeah, good. I don't want him going to the Yankees or the Mets either. Screw him. I think Toronto would be semi-interesting.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Baseball wants him on the West Coast. Baseball needs him. Baseball needs him to go to the Dodgers. They need him to go to the Dodgers in the worst way. That's what they want to have happen, but we'll see. All right, do you want to catch a break? You just want to roll into some more football? It's already 40.
Up to you.
All right, let's keep rolling. Let me tell you about Tipico because we're going to do a Cavs boost. Do you want to do it now? I got a lot of stuff. Ryan's the producer of the show. You tell me. We got to do our Cavs Tipico boost. I've got Miles' Defensive Player of the Year conversation, and I still have Adam Schein's the teams that he likes, loathes, and loves, likes, and loathes in the playoffs.
I mean, there's really not that much for the morning update, Matt, if we wanted to.
No, I want to do the morning update.
Okay.
I want to keep that a staple thing. Let's do this. Let's do Tipico right now. Download the app. Use the code BIGPLAY100. You see it right there on the bottom of our screen. You deposit and bet $25 on anything you want. You get $100 in bonus bets. And then the boosts. Folks, did we get any boosts from anybody? Anybody got a boost out there that they want to add tonight for the Cavs? So we're going to do a 3-leg Cavs parlay tonight. Sign up right now. They already have pre-made boosts as well. They already have pre-made boosts. So for tonight, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell to score 50-plus combined. That is boosted to plus 165. So let's start out. Should I give you some odds for this game tonight?
Yeah.
Let's get a little information here if we can. Because information is power. So let's go to the game tonight. So we know Orlando is a very good basketball team. Very good basketball team. So do you ever look at those models? You know, they have all these sports models now that they simulate the game 1,000 times, whatever. So the one that I usually look at, they have a predicted score of tonight of 114.7 to 114.2.
Wow.
So the over-under is 222.5. I feel like that's probably a slam to take the over, right? Over has hit in Orlando 7 out of the Magic's last 8 games. But for the Cavs, I feel like it's everything under. Under 4 out of their last 5, and the under has hit 14 out of their last 18 games against Orlando. This game is at home tonight. Under 12 out of the Cavs' last 16 games at home. Do you want to make an over-under play? Or you want to pick something else? I want to stay away from the spread. I don't like doing the spread. I hate that.
I'm looking at some rebounds right now.
All right, what do you like on rebounds?
I think I'm my leg. I think I'm gonna just do Jared Allen over 9.5. I think he'll get double-digit boards tonight. That's
right.
minus 135.
So
if we parlay that, we can get some cash.
All right, number 1, Jared Allen over 9.5 rebounds. I think that's fair. Can I do a little Evan Mobley tonight, or should we not do that with Allen or with Garland? Or I'm sorry, with Jared Allen doing one. Because points and rebounds, Evan Mobley's over under 25.5. I kind of like that.
I like that too.
Okay. Do I pull it and say over 222.5? That was my gut feeling. If the Cavs are going to win tonight, they're going to have to score.
Be about a 111 apiece. I could see it.
That is a 3-leg parlay of over 9.5 boards for Allen, over 25.5 points and rebounds for Evan Mobley, and over 222 points. That gets us to gets us to 424 plus the boost there for Tipico. You like that?
I do like that.
Send it to you right now? Do you mean to send it to you?
No, I got it.
All right, you got it? Send that over to Tipico right now. We'll get to that. Let's talk some Cavs for a second. The Cavs are in such a pivotal stretch right now where it's festering. It's festering. The firing of J.B. Bickerstaff, the Donovan Mitchell on this team. The Cavs have no reason to be in the situation that they're in right now. Okay? The Cavs are 2 games over 500 and in the 8th seed. And I know it's still early this season. They cannot shoot. They cannot shoot right now. Defensively, the Cavs are still a top 10 team. The problem is you still fell. You were the number 1 defensive team in basketball last year. I think they're 8th right now. So now they have taken a step back. Still relatively good. But when you added money to shoot the basketball better, and you are not in a league that is pretty much set up to shoot threes, we got problems. There are serious problems with the Cavs' identity right now. Who are the Cavs? Who are they? What do they do? It's not defensive. I mean, again, they're still good, but they're not great. So it's not we're a stingy defense with two guys that are shot blockers and Evan Mobley's a generational defensive player. It's not that. We are not a team that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Max Strus are knocking down 15 threes a game each. That's not it. You know what the Cavs are? They can't shoot and they turn the ball over. For the love of God, can we stop turning the basketball over? They might actually be a decent team if they could just hold on to the basketball. And if it's guys pressing, because that's the other issue that I'm starting to see with this team, it's starting to impact the players now knowing, dude, if we don't right this ship, JB is going to be out of a job. And the pressure that JB is putting on them strictly is just a head coach. He's doing what a head coach needs to do. Closed locker room meetings, so you guys better get your act together. Not just because it's going to cost me my job, it's going to cost everybody here. I'm frustrated with the Cavs because I have expectations. And there's such a long season to go. There's a lot of basketball to be played. But Ryan, I don't like how they look right now. I don't. And you face Orlando, who technically is in the 3 seed. Now, I would love to believe by end season that they won't be there. But still, I'm going to look at a game like tonight. I got everything on this game tonight. I do. I am thoroughly intrigued to watch this game tonight. Specifically Banchero versus Evan Mobley. Like that's kind of your marquee matchup right there. But, you know, they got the Wagner twins, the Wagners, sorry. They're not twins, they're brothers. Orlando's a good basketball team. You're at home tonight. You need to take care of business. Tonight, I never thought I'd be saying this on the 6th of December. Tonight's a must-win game for the Cavs. And Orlando's a good team. That's why it's a must-win. They've got to get this win tonight. And I have a belief that one of the things that frustrates us about the Cavs is their consistency. Well, part of inconsistent is sometimes you're really good. And I feel like the Cavs are getting, I hope, that's why tonight's so pivotal. Tonight will either continue this negative trend that they're on or be the game that they bounce back and they play basketball really well for a week or two. The problem is, dude, that their schedule, their next 5 games are brutal. Brutal. I know Miami doesn't have Bam Adebayo, but you're staring down the barrel of that 2 games there in Boston, and you got another one against Orlando coming up. Gotta have it tonight. And I truly do feel good. I don't like, I said, I don't like putting the spreads in there, but still, I feel good. I feel really good about the Cavs showing up tonight. They're at home. I hope they can shoot a little bit better. They've had some time off to recollect and kind of where they're at, get over that Portland loss. Okay, you beat Detroit barely, fine. Tonight is a big game, a massive game for the Cavs. And I hope that they're able to come through. I really do. So that's how it's going to go. Our boost is going to go up at Tipico. Hopefully, do they let us know when that, or we'll just check. They're usually like really quick. It's usually about 15 minutes that boost gets up on Tipico. So again, download that app. Use the code BIGPLAY100. Deposit and bet $25. You get $100 in the bonus bets, and you can spend that on whatever you want. You could spend that $25 right there on our boost tonight and see what you get on that. So check it out at Tipico. Download that app and use the code BIGPLAY100. Back into the Browns, and I want to go to Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano. So they do their kind of like their mailbag, basically every week going into the season. And their topics this weekend, their upset picks, their quarterback market, division races, and defensive player of the year. The question, who are your top 3 picks for NFL defensive player of the year? Jeremy Fowler's 3. TJ Watt, your guy, Deron Bland, and Myles Garrett. Fowler writes, this feels like a golden age for pass rushers. Garrett Watt and Micah Parsons are all tracking for 15-plus sacks this season, and each player terrifies their opponents. Watt and Garrett have carried their respective teams despite a lack of support from their offenses, and both make massive plays late in the game. It feels like Garrett's year to come into his own as a premier pass rusher. And Fowler writes, Parsons should probably be here, but his teammate Deron Bland has shown a rare knack for crashing passing lanes and finding end zone once the ball in his hands. He has 8 picks, including 5 pick sixes. We have been noted here that I like Deron Bland. That's fine. He gets the picks. But, right, he gets torched on some other plays. And I think if you're talking about the best defensive player in football, can't get torched for touchdowns. Yeah, you go score touchdowns, which is nice, but you can't get torched for it. I think it's down to Watt and Garrett. And I would lean Miles because Watt has already won it. And I think the Browns are a better team than the Steelers. Now, watch for tomorrow night. TJ Watt goes out and wins that game for the Steelers tomorrow night. That's going to be a big flip. And for where Miles is with the injury, and I don't believe he's playing just to get some award. I don't. I think they need him out there. If he can go, he's going to try to go. But that's the problem. If he goes a 3-game stretch here without getting a sack, that's going to be a hard thing. That's going to be really hard for Myles Garrett to win. But I appreciated Fowler, and his order was Garrett, Watt, and then Deron Bland. And I think for the Cowboys, it's the same thing. What is so good about Watt and Garrett is they literally mean everything to their team. Dallas is one of the best teams in football. Can you really? What's the last time a defense? Let's Google this. The last time an NFL team had the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Player of the Year and MVP.
No idea.
Okay, so no, that's okay. I might have to do this in the break. Because what I want to do is just run through the list and see. Because I Googled it quick, and the first thing that came up was Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. All right, NFL MVP. Sorry. It's going to annoy me, so that's why I've just derailed the show to do this real quick. All right, AP. I can't tell you the last time that's happened as I'm looking at it.
Maybe it's never.
09? No. All those Ravens teams, no. Certainly not in 2002. Wait. No, Rich Gannon won an MVP. Can you believe that? Marshall Falk. I'll tell you what. I'll do some research on this in the break because I got to find out. The last time that an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year are on the same NFL team. Or if you've got it quickly, if you're Googling at work, find that out. But, so that's, I think, the hard thing for Parsons and really, frankly, Deron Bland. So that's Jeremy Fowler. So he says that Garrett is still in this thing. Dan Graziano. He goes, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and Micah Parsons. Graziano says Bland's interceptions are undeniable and likely to generate a lot of votes. But, as I said, he got torched by Seattle last Thursday night, and I don't think he has the same play-to-play impact of these edge rushers. Garrett is having an absolutely dominant season for the Browns, who have had the league's best defense for most of the season. Parsons could even vault to the top of the list if he helps the Cowboys win a division title, which might even include a big win over Philadelphia on Sunday night. And Watt, like his brother before him, is always going to be in this mix. Couple sneaky candidates. Fowler says Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens. And we talked about Max Crosby. And then Graziano says Danielle Hunter up there in Minnesota. And a guy we'll see Sunday, Josh Allen. Not that one, the other one. The pass rusher for Jacksonville. Pretty interesting stuff. Do you want to do the other stuff that they did in their mailbag?
Yeah.
Number one, most interesting division races, the most interesting one to watch. Graziano says the AFC South. Fowler says the NFC East. Which division are you most interested to see? Probably just those two, right?
I mean, the AFC South is interesting, and the NFC South is interesting in terms of how close it is. But
yeah,
probably appeal entertaining factor. I would say, probably. I mean, I guess the NFC North, the AFC North.
You can listen to NFC North. I mean, if you think the Packers,
yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, I don't know.
I would say the NFC East for me. I think it is Dallas, Philly.
Yeah, I mean, if Dallas can beat Philly at home, which honestly is pretty realistic,
it's gonna be huge.
That's gonna heat up real quick.
Which team could be a surprise participant in the quarterback market this offseason? Graziano says the Rams or the Saints. Stafford and Carr have fully guaranteed salaries of $31 and $30 million. He says maybe Seattle. Would you move on from Geno? Fowler says Seattle seems like a team to watch. Depending on the rest of Geno Smith's season, his guaranteed money is out after this season. Oh, yeah, go get a quarterback. I would say Kyler Murray, but there's no way they would do an in-division trade there. There's no way. Same thing with Stafford. Derek Carr goes there. The Raiders, they're not a surprise team. The Raiders are... Here are the teams that are going to need a quarterback next year, which is going to be long and expansive. Are you ready for this? The ones we know. The Patriots, the Steelers, because we know that. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to need one. The Vegas Raiders. In the NFC, the Commanders... I guess they're the only guaranteed
You think
one.
the Commanders?
Yeah, they're not sticking with Sam Howell.
I don't know, man.
I know he puts up numbers. I'd go find me a quarterback. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'd put the Commanders on
It
the
kind of reminds me of like Josh Allen that first year we saw him. I mean, like turnover machine,
yes.
inaccurate, but he fixed it. I don't know. I think there's something you can work on there.
And
Washington.
then potential Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, Saints. Is Tampa all in with Baker? I think he's done enough to stick around there. Minnesota's an intriguing one because Kirk Cousins, I think they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback bad. Giants, but they got Danny Dimes on a guaranteed deal. What are they going to do? Interesting. And of course, you know what the team, and I'll say this too, I want this on record. Chicago better not get rid of Justin. I don't think they will. I would hold on to Justin Fields if I was them. All right, let's do this. Let's catch our break. We come back. We'll get to the morning update. I want to get to Adam Shine of NFL.com. His Shine 9, the bubble teams he likes, loves, and loathes. Are the Browns on that list? We'll get to that coming up. We'll get to some more Cavs, and we'll update our Twitter questions this morning at Matt Fontana Show. Yankees are going after Juan Soto because they need that. You know they're going to play Aaron Judge in center field? I guess you don't need to be defensive anymore out there in baseball, but it is what it is. All the balls that hit the outfield, they all go over the fence. All right, big day out here on Big Play. Of course, us, 9 to 11. Don't forget about Chico, 12 to 2. And then tonight, bonus time with one Bruce Drennan. Last night, Josh and Maria Cribbs with always a great show. And then, of course, Monday's usually our big day. We got the Reflog show. Big Play Cleveland shows. It's been rebranded. # free Reflog. And then Greg and Blake Williams with their show. I saw the clip of Greg Williams' top 3 keys that he took away from the Browns game on Sunday, so watch that. And, of course, Hanford Dixon's show. It's everywhere you need it, folks. Follow Big Play on Twitter. You'll see all the shows. Ted Yin Jr.'s show, our Big Play Big Bet show, and, of course, all the replays of our show. Everywhere you need it. You can check out our website as well at bigplay.com, but just drop a follow at Big Play on Twitter. Let's get to the morning update. Hour 2 upon us. Stay with us. It is the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. We're back. Welcome back. Sorry, I'm all enthralled. I'm looking through MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year. So I know LT and Alan Page both won the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP. I'm not talking about that. We need our own Hembo on the show. We need a stat boy on the show somehow. If there was ever a time that one team had the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP, but they were different players. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm just quickly searching through this, and I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I don't... Like... Yeah. Rodgers, no. Steelers, no. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I don't... Just, again, from my quick search as far as two players winning the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Now, granted, Defensive Player of the Year only started in 1971. So that's how far back I went. But... yeah, I thought there would have been, like, in 78 or something like that. Like, the Steelers had 3 straight Defensive Player of the Years in 74, 75, and 76. Mean Joe Green, Mel Blount, and Jack Lambert. And then Terry Bradshaw won an MVP, but he didn't win it until 1978. You know? So, yeah, I really, just on my quick search here, I don't think that there's ever been a team that has had the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year on the same team be two different things. So that really hurts Micah Parsons and Deron Bland if Dak Prescott goes to win the MVP. So good news for Myles Garrett. But nonetheless, let's get to it. Ryan, the morning update, all the stories you got to know on your Wednesday.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, Cleveland's had some very fortunate luck with these lotteries in the recent years, and that trend continued with the Guardians last night, who secured the #1 pick in the 2024 MLB draft. And Matt, I didn't know this. I actually just read this. Cleveland actually won the lottery on the second try Tuesday. The first drawing of the ping pong balls came up with, a combination that won for the Nationals. However, Washington was actually ineligible to pick in the top 6 because of a collective bargaining agreement states that a team that pays in the revenue sharing plan cannot have a lottery pick in back-to-back years.
Did not know that. On why? I knew that, but I didn't know exactly why. Why? Because they paid all that money to I'm assuming it's a money thing, right?
Yeah, it says because the Nationals chose outfielder Dylan Cruz with the #2 selection this year.
Oh, good enough. Well, whatever. But nonetheless, it all worked out. I mean, the thing is, you don't know who this kid is going to be. You don't even know what position, right? Because that's the problem. It's sometimes an issue with baseball. You can't project what you need. In basketball, it's borderline positionless in a way that the best players are the best players. Now, if you need a guard or if you need everybody wants that, who's that kid coming out? Cooper Flagg, right?
Yeah.
Because you see that NBA teams are now allowed to go watch. So this kid, he's not Victor Wembanyama, but he's like close, okay? And he's in America. He's like a 7-foot teenager. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can do it all. And the NBA just sent a memo out that these teams are actually allowed to go scout him now. They're allowed to actually go to I'm sure he's at some big AAU tournament or something in Vegas, and they're allowed to go see Cooper Flagg. It doesn't matter what position you have or not, you're taking this kid, right? Football, it's an immediate thing. Okay, I need a tackle, I need a corner, you're going to take that. In baseball, how the hell do you know what you're going to need in 5 years? Well, people, power hitting outfielder. You sure you're going to need that in 5 years? Now, granted, we've needed one for 15 years, but still. It's a bat versus a pitcher. And, I don't know these success rates, and that's where Mike Chernoff and Chris Antonetti, there are so many variables. Do you pick a guy that went to college so they're a little more polished and maybe they could get up here in 2 years? Do you pick a high schooler who's better, but there's more of a roll of the dice? I don't know. Just me, I would probably lean towards taking a guy that went to college. And for those that don't know, I think most people do. You can get drafted out of high school, and you're right into the minor leagues. The problem is that those kids usually take more time to get to the majors. Take Bryce Harper out of it. He was like a 21-year-old kid playing. But if you go to a kid that graduated from high school, or if you go to college, you have to go for 3 years. So you take a guy that played 3 years of baseball in college, they can conceivably get up to the majors in a couple of years. Here's an interesting stat for you, Ryan. Out of the last 6 first overall picks, how many of them were high school kids?
I'm gonna say 4.
1. 1.
I should have went the opposite way.
Well, it was the opposite. It was the opposite way. The only one was 2 years ago. Jackson Holiday, a shortstop out of Stillwater, Oklahoma, went to the Orioles. Other than that, Casey Mize went to Auburn, Adley Rutschman went to Oregon State, Spencer Torkelson, Arizona State, Henry Davis went to Louisville, and last year, that Skenis kid from Louisiana State. Everybody was all freaking out about Louisiana State. They had all, LSU had all those good
He's
players.
dating Livy Dunn.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is that where I knew it? That's right.
Yeah.
Good for him. But anyway, 5 out of the last 6 first overall picks have been college guys. I think that leans towards maybe what the Guardians want to do, because then there's a little more quickness to maybe getting them up to the majors. I mean, Spencer Torkelson was pretty much an everyday player for the Tigers this past season. And in this past season, led them in home runs, RBIs, and extra base hits. He spent 2 years in the minors. He was drafted in 2020, part of 2020, part of 21, came up in 22, and was a full-time player by 23. That's maybe why you lean college. College guys, I think you get about 2 years, and they'll be up here. So I think that'd be interesting. And again, actually, I take that back. Oh, no. So Torkelson made their opening day roster in 2022, but they sent him back down. And then he became a regular player in 2023. Regardless, and trust me, I haven't looked at, who the top players are and all that kind of stuff. The final thing, too. You know they got to pay him $10 million? First overall pick in baseball is going to be about $10 million.
Damn.
Yeah. Spencer Torkelson got $8.5 million for being the first overall pick a couple years ago. That's going
crazy.
up. Going up. So good luck, Guardians.
Alrighty, well, the Cavs are back in action tonight at home against a young, surging Orlando team.
You're
Kind of
good, man.
surprising. 14-6, while Cleveland sits at 11-9. Cleveland's actually a 4.5-point favorite in this, Matt. Really, only injury news is that Karis LeVert is going to be out again.
That
for the
sucks.
Cavs.
That hurts. That hurts a lot. I think, Orlando, you're right. A surprise kind of up-and-coming team. But Paolo Banchero, first overall pick, the Wagner twins, and then they still have Jalen Suggs. I've always kind of had, I don't want to say a soft spot for Jalen Suggs, but I thought he was going to be really good. So I got a little, soft spot for him, I guess, if you want to look at it. They're good, man. Cole Anthony, you can't sleep on this team. You cannot sleep on and of course, the Magic are one of the best teams in the East. The issue is, I think they're peaking a little too early. You know what I mean? I think that their best basketball is right now, not later. Here's your other stat for tonight. They're only 5-4 on the road. They're decimating people in Orlando. This game's here tonight. They're only 5-4 on the road. So I'm feeling good. Magic were on a win streak. They lost their last game. Hope the Cavs get it done. I feel real good. I think the Cavs are going to get it done tonight. I think they'll get a win.
I hope so, Matt. That'd be a great win for them, I think. But we on yesterday's show, we brought up Zach Wilson. Well, there's a little update. Aaron Rodgers talked about it. For those who don't know.
I'm glad you brought this up. Yes, I'm glad you brought it up.
For those who don't know, there were reports that Zach Wilson was offered the starting job back for the Jets, but he was reluctant to take it. Aaron Rodgers came out and said he was upset about that report, and he believes it unfairly paints Zach Wilson as a, quote, kid quitting on the team, but he blasted the organization for what he called chicken shit leaks to the media.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is. Rodgers can do that because he has the Jets over a barrel, so he can say whatever he wants. Robert Saleh comes out, and he's saying that, this can't happen, and whatever. The whole point is, why would they leak that? It had to have come from, okay. Play this out, right? Let's say that it was Zach Wilson that leaked it. Why would he leak that? Because then it paints him in a negative light, where if he goes on to another team or somebody else wants his services, why would they want to, sign a guy that's pulling this? Now, conversely, he would leak that to say this organization, screw them, and I want it out. The organization is more than likely the ones that leaked this because they want some sympathy. Saying, well, hey, we're trying to go back to this guy. I guess I don't understand that. I don't understand the scenario that they're in. Maybe it's more on Zach Wilson's part of, bro, you get paid money. They want you to start. Go out there and play. And then the comeback to me ultimately would be, why would you not want to play? You're in a really bad situation right now. Not just being on the Jets, but your career. Do you know the only way to solve that is to play? I know you would love to maybe take the Baker Mayfield, or I guess try the Mitch Trubisky path of high draft pick. It didn't work. I'll go sit somewhere for a little bit and then get back into the mix. Bro, roll the footballs out and give it a try. I don't know. Can it get much worse? Can the evaluation of Zach Wilson be really that much worse than what they already have? It's an interesting situation. Glad we're not dealing with it. I'm glad we don't have Zach Wilson. But they cut Tim Boyle. What did they do? Sam Brett Rippon. Of course you'd rather start Zach Wilson over Brett Rippon. What's that guy got? Nothing. I don't know. But I appreciate Rodgers having his guys back a little bit. And yeah, I think it's bullcrap. And especially, I guess this might be one of the things that I would love the truth on. Is it really? Did they go to Zach Wilson? How did this play out? Ryan, you be Robert Saleh for a second, and I'll be Zach Wilson, okay?
Okay.
Come and ask me if I want to start again.
Zach, I know we turned away from you for a couple of weeks, but we've come to realize we think you're the best guy to head this team moving forward. We'd like to give you your starting job back.
Two ways it played out. Number one, F you, go to hell, you son of a gun. Absolutely not. I pee on your grave and you can go to hell. Or, Coach, I don't really know if I can do it for this team. I really don't know if I'm the best option. I don't think I'm going to be able to put this team in a good position to win. Both of those are the same thing. That's Zach Wilson being reluctant. Now, did he come out with the go to hell? Or the, I'm kind of like those are different things. And they're each bad in their own right. It's bad for you to go to your head coach and say blank off. And we don't know if Zach Wilson did or didn't. But then the other side of it tells you what? That's broken confidence. And that same thing as we unravel this mystery. Do we have did you bring over the conspiracy theory thing?
No,
we got to bring that over. Bring it over. I know you got Drennan today. We got to bring that over. Here's the thing. If it was number one, I pee on your grave and go to hell, other teams could jump on that and go, all right, well, we could respect that. You don't want to play for them, and they did you dirty, they did you wrong, and you don't want to play there. But if it's the other one, that his confidence and psyche is broken, then that's it. That's all she wrote. So the next kind of domino in this, I would believe, would be, well, how did he say no? Was it defiant? Or was it, I'm broken and I can't play for this team anymore? It's bad. Neither one of it's a good situation. And I'll tell you this, man. Good thing you got Joe Flacco when you did. Just don't tell me that they would have called Joe Flacco in 2 seconds. They would have gotten him in 2 seconds. By the way, as a bookkeeping note, nobody can take Joe Flacco off our practice squad unless he wants to leave. And I don't think he's going to leave. They did that because it's cheaper. If they sign Joe Flacco to the active roster, they have to pay him a vested veteran minimum. He's on the practice squad. He's making chump change, and they get 4 elevations before they actually have to sign him to the active roster. There's a money procedural thing, and the Jets could come calling, but Joe Flacco actually has to want to leave the Browns practice squad, which I don't think he's going to. So don't worry on that. But timing worked out, did it not? That you got Flacco when you did, because I guarantee you'd be with the Jets if he wasn't here.
Final news story here for the morning update on Wednesday. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis proposed his $114.4 billion budget for Florida. And Matt, he was asking for $1 million of that budget to let Florida State sue the College Football Playoff Committee for snubbing them in this year's playoff.
This is all this ever is posturing, is the trying to get votes, sympathy. They don't really care. They have it. Here's a you want to know we don't talk politics on this show. I truly to my core hate politics. But the biggest issue with a lot of our politicians, and this is not a right or left statement, it's frankly about all of them. They act like they care when they really don't. And that's how a lot of people get elected.
It reminds me of that cringy ass video that's the Cincinnati mayor made.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Like
jabroni.
you know
Travis
that
Kelce.
yeah, right, exactly. That's my thing. And they have a group of people behind him. And what do they have? They have campaign managers and they have PR people and they all sit down in meetings and they try to come up and connive and scheme these ideas. Hey, let's shoot this video and you call Kansas City a bunch of jabronis. All right. Hey, Ron, here's an idea. Let's get really behind this Florida State thing. It's all about just optics. In hindsight, they don't really care. And then they had somebody in meetings whose sole job is to get, frankly, some of these politicians that have a foot in the grave, trying to, how do we relate to the young people? How do we relate to a 23-year-old kid that's going to go vote in mayoral, governor, senator, or lo and behold, one day the president? How do we get to, let's make an edgy TikTok. Hey, let's act like we give a crap about Florida State. They don't. And if I really wanted to be a jerk about it, which I could, how about you spend that $1 million on some people that need some help? Not some university that makes money hand over fist left and right. They don't need it. Don't worry about them. Donating them $1 million to fight this? Because number one, there is no case to be made.
Yeah, it's a waste of money.
There is no case to be made. And you're going to, in the United States judicial system, that unfortunately we've learned a lot more about when it comes to sports, you think they're going to get anything done in 3 weeks? They need to get this done in 3 weeks. It's stupid. And I know that money probably won't go, but seriously, I'm being dead serious. How about you spend that money on some people that don't have a home right now? How about you spend that on some kids that don't know where their next meal is coming from? How about you spend that money to try to help people battling addiction? Not trying to give it to some university that makes money hand over fist for something that, frankly, they didn't deserve to go to anyway. It's stupid. Politics in this world, they're ruining it. They are ruining it for the people like you and me. And that's a right and left statement. That's everybody out there. They're doing a disservice to all of us. So again, what happens? They jump on this, and again, it's just all about, hey, look, we support them. And this, they don't give a crap. They don't give a damn. It's stupid. It's, sorry. I didn't think we were going to go there on that, but I'm glad you brought it up. It's bullcrap. It's absolute bullcrap is what it is. Because they don't deserve to get in. They literally do not deserve to get in. They're not going to get in. And that's what it is. The one thing you did not bring up this morning, right, is that Taylor Swift is Time's Person of the Year. Congratulations. Is Travis Kelce, Mr. Person of the Year then? Is he the first person of the year? Like first lady, first man?
Did they do a man and a woman?
No, it's just person of the year.
Person of the year.
But I'm saying he is dating the person of the year. So what does that make Travis Kelce?
Has she not been the person of the year before?
I have no idea.
Interesting.
Time Person of the Year.
I think last year was Mr.
Taylor
Musk.
Swift was. So the president has gotten it 23 different times. It's like the Pope has gotten it. It's pretty. I'm gonna find. Hang on, wait. I want to find like by the year.
Wasn't last year Mr. Musk?
Was it Elon?
I think it was.
Was it? I mean, again, what is the? I guess here's my thing. What are the premise? What's the? All right, I have this up right now. The Person of the Year is an annual issue of America's news magazine Time featuring a person, group, idea, or object that, for quote, better or worse, has done the most to influence the events of the year. So again, doesn't have to be a good thing. And again, some presidents have gotten it. Sorry, it is what it is. So like, here's your trivia question of the day. That Charles Lindbergh was the first ever Time Person of the Year in 1927 because he made the transatlantic flight and was one of the biggest things ever. Walter Chrysler from like Dodge Chrysler, 1928. Gandhi got it in 1930. Here are your most recent ones. Oh, Elon got it in 2021. So Taylor Swift got it this year. Last year, it was, quote, the spirit of Ukraine and then their president. Elon in 2021. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020. Greta Thunberg of 2019. She was the climate change.
Yeah.
Okay. The Guardians in 2018. They were the journalists who faced prosecution, arrest, or murder for their reporting. For all that. 2017 was the Silence Breakers, basically the Me Too movement, which is very important.
Oh, I'm looking at that cover. Taylor Swift's on there
Of Time?
on the Silence Breakers in 2017.
Oh, was she?
Look, she's
Okay.
on. Yeah, that's.
Oh, yes, that's right. There she is. Ashley Judd, Susan Fowler, Taylor Swift. Okay, fair enough. Donald Trump in 2016, Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany in 2015, the Ebola fighters in 2014.
God, what a time that was.
You remember that? Well, I'm surprised 2020 wasn't.
Fauci or something?
Well, it was Biden and Kamala Harris probably, because I guess maybe how they handled the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. Pope Francis in 2013. Now I'm just like so interested in this. Zuckerberg got it in 2010.
Oh, Barack Obama got it twice.
Did he?
In 2008.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
2012.
Okay. Dude, Putin got it in 7. Do you know who won it in 2006?
I'm looking at it right now.
You and I did.
Nice.
Representing the individual content creators of the World Wide Web.
That's us.
That's us. We're there, part of it. George Bush, the whistleblowers, Giuliani. Oh, yeah, Giuliani. So unfortunately for September 11th, on how he handled all that. Time of the year. Good for her. Person of the year. Bezos won it all the way back in 1999.
I didn't know he was relevant then.
That's the crazy thing. Most people think of Amazon, in the 2010s. But yeah, he won it in 1999 for that. So here's the crazy thing. Like, for Taylor Swift to win Person of the Year, she's up there with, like, again, elected leaders. I'm trying to, like, go through and see okay, so
I think Taylor should be our president.
Inanimate Objects, The Computer won the Machine of the Year in 1982 and The Endangered Earth in 1988. Abstract Concepts, Ukraine last year. Unnamed People would be the group of people. What I'm trying to do is look and see, like, when's the last time that, well, I guess Elon, because I was saying he's not an elected an artist or something like that. Like, when's the last time a musical person won it? That's got to be forever ago, right? Again, it's a lot of elected people, the earth. It's all concepts and ideas.
Yeah.
Like, I truly think, I'm just quickly scrolling through this. I think she is the first entertainer to win this. Yeah, almost everybody else is some sort of elected official or a business person.
I saw Bono was on there with Bill Gates and Melinda Wu.
I think he's been nominated before.
But, like, it wasn't for, like, it's for, like, philanthropy.
Yeah. Then they also have other areas. Entertainer of the Year, Athlete of the Year, Business Person of the Year, Heroes of the Year. They'll do that coming up. So, good for Taylor Swift. And again, I think just the question is, what does Travis Kelce become? Is he Mr. Person of the Year? First Mr. Person of the Year? I'm just interested to see. Congratulations to him.
Matt, do you know who was the, little trivia, do you know who the first cover of the Rolling Stone magazine was?
The first cover of the Rolling Stone. I don't know.
John Lennon.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I thought the Rolling Stone was older than that. I thought it was way
like
older.
60.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but I thought it would have been way older than that. Huh, interesting. Very interesting. Do you want to get to Adam Schein's 9 playoff teams? He likes, loathes, and it's love, like, and loathe.
Let's get to the Shine 9.
So I always love Adam Schein's 9. Here's the interesting thing. He listed these as bubble playoff teams. He didn't put the Browns in here. So does he believe they're like a lock playoff team? I don't know. Bubble teams that he likes: the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, Do you believe that? I don't. Do you love I do love the Texans. I get that. I don't know if I love the Indianapolis Colts.
I don't love them at all. I don't think they're really, built to win a playoff game. Maybe sneak in there, but I mean, you look at their season. Their offense has really been way above expectation, all things considered. With Gardner being your starting quarterback for most of the season, and with the whole Jonathan Taylor fiasco. Now he's injured. They've consistently put up points throughout the year. I think they were they had the record for just this season. Most weeks with 20+ points up to a point, maybe halfway through the season or something like that. But yeah, I don't buy that. Come playoff time, there'll be anything to worry about.
Shines bubble teams he likes. The Green Bay Packers. Now I could borderline say I love the Green Bay Packers. I think I don't know if they're going to make any noise, but I like watching them. The Los Angeles Rams he likes, and the Buffalo Bills he still likes. He writes, regular readers of this column have heard me lament Sean McDermott's knack for committing in-game coaching malpractice. I just aired my grievances in this space last week, yet an unrelenting injury bug has also led to Buffalo's inexplicable 6-6 record, but the head man bears plenty of responsibility. Regardless, Josh Allen remains special, and we saw that his last time out when he was otherworldly in a crushing 3-point loss at Philly. It was Josh Allen and nobody else in that game. I agree. And Adam writes, when he's at his best, Buffalo has the ability to hang with any team in the NFL. The 3 bubble teams that he hates. 4 bubble teams that he hates. Number 1, the New Orleans Saints. So do I, Adam. Because I got $25 that I might as well just rip up right now. If I could cash it out for 78 cents, I would. I can't even do that.
If the Browns had Jameis Winston, we'd be going to the Super Bowl this year.
I don't know about that, but the New Orleans Saints
that's a fact.
Are garbage. He also hates the Seattle Seahawks. There's a big turn coming there for Seattle. We talked about quarterback teams that might be needy. I think here's what I'd do.
Yeah,
you go to Pete Carroll and you say, we appreciate you, man. Here's a nice special advisor role, but you're done. You're done. And the thing is, I think Pete Carroll is still coaching at a high level. But you just, now is that time. You keep DK Metcalf, you keep Jackson Smith and Jigba, you keep Kenneth Walker, you get a quarterback, you keep Devin Witherspoon, and you go find a new coach. Here's a nice, cushy, whatever salary you want to make, and you're a special advisor to the GM or the head coach or something.
Would you take Tyler Lockett on the Browns?
I'd love Tyler Lockett on the Browns. I like Tyler Lockett a lot.
Yeah, he's
What's his contract, though? Didn't they just sign him to a deal?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'd trade for him, though.
I was looking at the free agent receivers, though, for next year. Some
Mike
interesting names.
Evans. I'm not going to get it. There's no world that I'll ever get it, but
it's like Mike Evans, Calvin Ridley.
Michael Lynn Evans III.
Let's just get OBJ back.
No, don't do that. Tyler Lockett's got a potential out after this season. Do it. I'd love him here. I'd love him here. But I hate Seattle. I'm with Adam. I don't think Seattle's very good. I'd make a change there. He hates the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're having did you see that Mike Tomlin thing somebody brought up? Was it Mike? Was it Mad Dog Russo? Somebody brought up the idea of trading Mike Tomlin away. Rich Eisen. Oh, no. That wasn't Rich Eisen.
Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that technically Sean Payton got traded from the Saints to the Broncos because he was still under contract with the Saints. He quit, but he still had a contract. They traded him to the Broncos. Not only did the Broncos give him $85 million, they had to give up a pick for him too.
But you can't just. But I'm assuming the coach has to be like, yeah, that's cool.
No, they're under contract. They can do whatever they want.
But why would a team accept that if their coach was just gonna be like, no, I'm not coaching?
Well, I mean, you got a contract. I mean, you could quit. You don't get your money. But here's the thing: the contract tolls. So what happened with Sean Payton was he signed a deal in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. It went bad, and he said, "I'm done." So they said, "Fine, go home. You're not going to get paid, but when you want to come back, we still retain your rights. We still own your contract. Yeah. So we either need to buy you out, and of course the Saints are going, well, why wouldn't we want to trade? Give us a pick." Yeah. It was Ed Bouchette.
So is he still
and he writes for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Is Sean Payton still in that contract right now?
No, they re-signed him to a new deal.
Okay.
They signed him to a new deal because I think that was probably the reason It worked out for everybody. Sean Payton goes, yeah, trade me. I'm out of here because I'm going to go get a buttload of money. So in order to release Payton from his contract, the Broncos agreed to send a first-round and second-round pick in exchange for Payton, and then they got back a third-round pick. And I think what that was, that just released him from his contract, and then he went and signed, that 85-odd-some million dollar deal or whatever. Because remember when he was interviewing for jobs, everybody said, you can hire Sean Payton, but you got to get him out of his deal with the Saints. So it was Ed Bouchette who said they should trade away Mike Tomlin. Why would you do that?
Not to derail real quick, but just some breaking MLB news.
Oh, please, yes.
Not the guard, sorry. But Orioles on the verge of signing 9-time All-Star Craig Kimbrell.
Oh, okay, so he left.
All
right. I would send some snappy tweet about a mid-market team doing all that, but we'll see. Interesting. So back to the Steelers, because I know I'm telling you, man, I think things are going bad in Pittsburgh. Pickett's injury aside, they have had the slap in the face realization Kenny Pickett ain't it, man. He's not. So, again, I was just talking about with Seattle. Maybe it's time to move on from your coach and your quarterback all in one fell swoop. Do it. Get him out. Be done. I think if I'm Mike Tomlin, I want out of Pittsburgh too. I don't think they respect him. I think they're kind of over it. They got to rebuild.
Yeah.
They got to rebuild. So I'm with Adam Schein.
Spoiled.
I hate the Steelers. Now, here's the problem. I need the Steelers to start playing or sucking as bad as I think they should. They somehow avoid that to any end. But they're still in this thing. And we'll get to our typical boost for tomorrow night. We need the New England Patriots to somehow pull one out their butt tomorrow night. Final team that Adam Schein hates that's in the playoff bubble, the LA Chargers. Me too, buddy. Me too. They're going to fire Brandon Staley. They don't need to change their quarterback. They're going to keep Justin Herbert.
I saw
Or maybe they should keep him.
A hilarious graphic, Matt, yesterday about how the Patriots aren't eliminated yet from the playoffs.
There's only one team in the entire NFL eliminated from the playoffs,
Panthers.
the Carolina Panthers. That's
and it was
it.
so funny. They need everybody, 6 teams to lose
out.
Yeah.
Right, and they need to win out. But yes, technically, mathematically, they are not eliminated yet, which is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. All right, let's catch a break. We come back. We'll do time hop. We'll wrap things up. We'll get ready for the Cavs game tonight. Some other news coming out just around the NFL as well. So we get to all that coming up. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. All right, we jump into Time Hop here on the 6th of December. If you're new to the show, first off, welcome. Great numbers. We appreciate everybody that joins us here on the mornings. If you go back, watch the replay later, very much appreciate it here. And we always do Time Hop. I love when people do tweet me to Ryan. They're like, dude, you gave me the one thing. My ultimate goal for Time Hop, because I just love doing it, I want you to be able to take something to the water cooler this afternoon or sit down at dinner and be like, hey, did you know this? Or did you know this little trivia?
I do it all the time, Matt.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So we start 3 years ago today, Browns, Titans, and Baker Mayfield doing something that only one other quarterback did in Browns history. He threw 4 first-half touchdowns. Would you guess the other quarterback? So Baker Mayfield taking on the Titans this day 2020. He had a first quarter touchdown to Jarvis Landry. In the second quarter, a 1-yard pass to Kendall Lamb on a tackle eligible, a 75-yarder to Donovan Peoples-Jones, and a 17-yarder to Hollywood Higgins. 4 touchdowns in the first half. Only one other Browns quarterback did that in the history of the franchise.
Wow, that's a hell of a stat. Who is this post 2000? Pre?
Way pre. There's your hint.
Brian Sipe?
No, even before that.
Otto Graham?
Otto Graham did
Okay.
it. Otto Graham did it in 1961. So again, in Browns history, Baker Mayfield in 2020 and Otto Graham in 1961. Only 2 players in team history to throw 4 touchdowns in the first half. Now, you want to know a scary thing, Ryan? I remember this game. We were up 38-7 at half. And we only won 41-35. They outscored us 28-3 in the second half.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
They had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, 2-point conversions out the rear end. Derrick Henry, I think, left that game. But nonetheless, the Browns, dude, they improved to 9-3 at that juncture of the season. What a time to be alive this day 2020. This day 2018, the Indians signed Carlos Carrasco to a 2-year deal. I was so bummed. I knew Lindor was going to leave, but I always wanted Cookie to stay. And I think, is he not available? I think he got hurt again.
He is. He's available.
I'd love to have him back. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. He battled injuries with the Mets, but I love Carlos Carrasco. He's the absolute best. I was at this game this day 2014. Ohio State beat Wisconsin 59-0 in the Big Ten championship game.
Almost like Florida State should have got in.
They had more impressive wins that year. Ryan, I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever.
Let me go back. What did I say, 2015?
Whatever.
Our loss was to Michigan. Oh, no. No, that's 2015. 2014, sorry, a year later. So in 2014, they lost to Virginia Tech.
No, isn't that like week 1?
In game 2 of the season.
Game 2? Give me a break.
They then beat number 8 Michigan State, number 25 Minnesota, and then number 13 Wisconsin, 59-0 in the Big Ten championship game. Beat Alabama and then beat Oregon to win the national championship.
You know who didn't have a loss? Florida State.
Yeah. Cardale Jones, 3 touchdowns. Zeke had 2 rushing. Curtis Samuel had 2 rushing. All 3 of the Ohio State touchdowns that day went to Devin Smith. 4 receptions, 137 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good day there.
Matt, that's another name free agent next year, Curtis Samuel. How would you like him on the Browns?
Okay. I like Curtis Samuel a lot. The Browns don't know what to do with Elijah Moore. I can't.
It would be like 2 gadget
And there
players.
might be a guy, there's a world that Curtis Samuel's better, and I think he is than Elijah Moore.
Hilarious.
They can't figure out how to use Elijah Moore. I'm not bringing Curtis Samuel into this. Michael Lynn Evans III. Do it. I tweeted out, or we tweeted the clip out from the show about the Browns receiving core not being good. And Nick and Danny, who are truly 2 of my closest friends doing this, we had a long-standing debate about DeAndre Hopkins. And Nick goes, oh, hey, I thought you didn't want DeAndre Hopkins. I still don't, Nick. I still don't. Not for the money that they were offering him. But we could use some receivers on this team. There's a whole show that we'll do just ripping through free agent wide receivers. This day, 2002, the Indians acquired Pronk, Travis Hafner, in a trade from the Rangers. What, did he tie the AL record for the most Grand Slams in a season? Tied or got it? One of the two.
What did he have, like 4 or 5?
I think it's like 5 in a season or something like that. This day, 1970, in their opening season, the Cavs got their first win at home. They beat the Buffalo Braves 108-106. They improved to 2-27 to start the season. So, not a great start down there, the Richfield Coliseum. This day, 1961, Ernie Davis won the Heisman, of course. Impactful for the fact he was the first African-American to win the Heisman, and unfortunately would pass away just a year and a half later due to leukemia. This day, 1884, the Washington Monument was completed. Very happy birthday, and weird how this works out. Otto Graham, birthday today. Mike Babb.
You're telling me you didn't know that? You didn't plan that?
No. Because how I do time hop, I have like I have a database that I do.
That's
so
crazy.
I scroll from the top bottom. So it's just weird and that happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
We've had that several
Yeah.
times where we mention somebody or something comes up and then it just happens to be their birthday. So yes, it is Otto Graham's birthday today. Mike Babb, Kevin Cash, Johnny Manziel's birthday today. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Sabrina Ascanio, Judd Apatow, and the late great Mr. Randy Rhoads. You know what Randy Rhoads is?
I don't think I do.
Guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
He very sadly passed away in a plane accident. So when Ozzy left Black Sabbath and he started his solo, very successful solo, Randy Rhoads was the lead guitarist. Go listen to just some of the licks, like just some of the song, Mr. Crowley, all those ones, right? Flying High Again, all those good Blizzard of Oz songs with Randy Rhoads. So they were on tour, and they pulled their tour bus over to sleep, or it broke down or something. And near where the bus stopped was a plane, like an airfield. And the driver of the bus goes, "Oh, I'm a pilot." So they get in the plane, and he's buzzing the top of the bus to try to wake up everybody else in the bus. He clipped the bus, and plane crashed and killed the other people, and Randy Rhoads was in there. So one of the I again, that's a whole nother bracket of the best guitarist of all time.
That would be a good one.
You know, Jimmy Page, certainly Jimi Hendrix. Randy Rhoads is somewhere on there. I don't know if he's like that high on the list, but I think he deserves to be up there. Clapton, certainly. RIP to Randy Rhoads. All right, one TV. It's like, okay, it's a movie, but it was a TV special.
Okay.
This day, 1964, somebody basically saves Christmas. 1964, somebody helps Santa to save Christmas.
Oh. Is it Miracle on whatever?
A Miracle on 34th Street. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not right.
64.
64.
Was there a remake later?
There's been several remakes, but I will tell you that this one stands, you know, this one kind of stands above the rest, in my opinion.
Was there a remake with Tim Allen?
No, it was not the Santa Claus.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
It was not the Santa Claus.
Then I don't know if I know.
Yukon Cornelius was a part of this one.
Oh, Rudolph.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Okay.
Reindeer. This 1964.
Yeah.
He saves Christmas, so it is what it is. Hermie, want to become a dentist, the Abominable Snowman, all that kind of stuff.
Poor
Yes.
Rudolph, man.
Got a raw deal, man. I don't know what to tell you. Raw deal there for Rudolph. So it came out this day, 1964. To wrap things up here, we got our typical boost, which I checked. I think it's up. It's got to be up, right? We'll check that. But I want to update our Twitter question this morning. If you could pick one player for the Browns to be 100% healthy for the game on Sunday, who would you pick? Myles Garrett at 53% of the votes. Denzel Ward at 40%. Amari Cooper at just 7% of the vote. I voted Amari, and I'm a little shocked, Ryan, to see that it's that far down on the list.
Yeah, I think it's just like one, we've seen Myles totally basically win us a game, and then also maybe for Denzel, there's some recency bias there because we did see our secondary get exposed against the Rams, and the fact like it's unless you're like the Justin Jeffersons of the world or the 2018 Cooper Kupps of the world or whatever year that was, 2020, my bad. you're going to pick a pass rusher to impact a game more than a wide receiver.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think the problem is that my view is the Browns' offense was running through Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And so they weren't to the level of Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson, like you said, but they still were to that level on their impact of the offense.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You know what I mean? So, like, and with a backup quarterback, which they're going to go with Flacco, and I made the case for DTR, and I understand that that's a kind of a futile debate, and they're going to go with Flacco, and that's fine. But you still need to help out Joe Flacco. There's something out there to be said for some of the Browns fans out there. It's not all good, okay? I know Flacco played fine. Do not lower your guard. it's still Joe Flacco. And I'm not trying to be negative about it, and I'm not trying to rain on everybody's parade. It's still Joe Flacco. I didn't watch Sunday's game and go, oh, thank God, we're good now. All right, we're good. That's okay. You still need to help him out. Now, he helped out the rest of the offense, and what he brings of the accuracy and the arm strength and all that is great. Good. Fantastic. It's an element that we need on this team. But don't sit here and just think, oh, yeah, we're good. We got Joe Flacco. There's still things that you got to do to piece it together, like help him along a little bit. And with this defense, is it too much to ask for them to say we need a borderline, like you can't let them score more than 10 points? Is that where we're at right now? I mean,
essentially.
I mean, that's the problem. Can you really look at this defense and feel good about them pitching a borderline shutout?
No, man, I completely agree with you. Like, without Amari, you already don't really have unless you have Joe Flacco at the helm, right?
Not all is well, Ryan. It's not all. There's still things we need to do here.
Yeah, I mean, without Amari, it's really ugly because not only do you not have your best pass catcher out there, but then you don't have to worry about him. You're not getting double teams his way or anything like that. So it's just going to make people like Elijah Moore and David Njoku's job even harder when it was already clearly hard to get them the ball.
Very much so. So we'll see later today. I don't expect an announcement. We might get the news that Dorian Thompson-Robinson clears protocol. If that's the case, and Stefanski, we'll make that announcement later in the week. The big one, we're back to this, man. The injury report for Wednesday. I'm assuming Miles, that doesn't matter. That doesn't bother me. Like, we're off to that. But I need to see if Amari Cooper and Denzel Ward are going to practice today. It's going to be a big day out there in Berea, so we'll see. Back to the Cavs tonight. Big game against the Orlando Magic. I don't see our boost up just yet at Tipico. So, again, check out Tipico for our boost for tonight. We're going over 25.5 points and rebounds for Evan Mobley. We're going over 9.5 rebounds for Jared Allen. And we're going to go over the game total of 222.5. I think this might be a close game. And that might lend overtime, which would lend to the over. So we'll see. Power rankings from ESPN. Cavs are 17th. 17th. Dave McMenamin writes, it's time to talk about the Cavs offense, or actually lack thereof. While Cleveland has built a sturdy defense in the past few seasons under J.B. Bickerstaff, currently 8th, the offense is sputtering. The Cavs are 25th in points per game and 23rd in offensive efficiency. Donovan Mitchell's averaging 27 points per game, but he can't carry the Cavs alone. They're set to play a top 10 defense in the Celtics and the Magic, each twice in the next 5 games. Got to score. Got to score. And Donovan's efficiency is a part of that, but so is Mobley. Darius Garland, man. Something's not right with Darius Garland. I don't know what it is. He's turning the football over. He just doesn't, basketball. He's turning I don't know if he can turn the football over too. He's turning the basketball over. Like, there's still times that he hits a 3. He laces a 3, and okay, there he is. He's coming back. I don't know, man. You need this. This offense is at the best when it's running through Garland and Mitchell. That's it. And then they can distribute to Strus and George Niang, hit a 3 here, do whatever. You get down low to Mobley. Now, I think Evan Mobley has started to pick up some of the slack offensively, to be honest with you. It's everybody else. And yeah, it starts with Donovan Mitchell. I got to see, here's the tough thing. I know I need to see more, but I also need to start seeing improvement. Like, Is it just as simple as the Cavs shooting? They're shooting less threes than they did last year and hitting them at a worse percentage. When you signed Max Strus to hit threes, it's everybody else. I'll tell you this. Everybody on that team right now, there's something that they're doing to contribute to this loss. This losing that you're dealing with right now. It's not even just something it's a blanket thing with this team. Everybody's got something going on. That's why, I don't know why, I have a lot of optimism for tonight. I have a lot of optimism that the Cavs are going to show the hell up for this game tonight. Playing a tough defense, we know that. We still took the over because for the Cavs to win tonight, for me to have that optimism that they're going to get the win, they're going to have to score, and they're going to have to put up points. And I know points will be at a premium for this game, but nonetheless, here we are for the Cavs. All right, Ryan, let's get to it. Our bracket of the week. In honor of the Rolling Stones, I think that's a pretty good guitarist there. It is the best classic rock bands of all time. So do you want to let groups 1 and 2 roll out for a little bit? There's still some time left.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll let them roll out, but as it looks now, it looks like group 1 is going to be victorious by AC/DC, I believe, has the lead on the
They've
Rolling
got a lead,
Stones.
but the Stones can get back into this.
And then group 2.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, Zeppelin's running away with that one to no surprise. So, and then we'll have groups 3 and 4 today.
All right, let's get to groups 3 and 4. We start, and we'll send these out right after the show to make sure everybody has plenty of time to vote on them as well. We start with group 3, Pink Floyd, GNR, The Doors, which get my vote, and Tom Petty. That's a pretty tough group.
I think Tom Petty would be my vote.
I love Pink Floyd. Have a cigar. And group 4, Queen, the Eagles, the Beatles, which... So I got a text from and Bob Seger. So I got a text from a friend of mine yesterday that said, "Great job on the Beatles." And then late last night, one of my good friends from college, one of my college roommates, Bill, texted me. And he goes, "You live with a guy for 3 years and then you find out that he hates the Beatles." He goes, "Who are you?" And Bill is he is a musical connoisseur. He and I love the Doors. We're together on that. And I said, "I'm sorry, man." And he goes, "I don't even know who you are." And I go, "I think the Beatles stink."
I'm definitely tweeting something
I
out
respect
tonight.
that. I understand it. And I said, "Well, first, I appreciate it." He goes, "I always catch the show later in the evening." So, Bill, I know you're watching, or if you are, I love you, bro, but sorry, the Beatles suck.
I'm definitely tweeting something about that today.
They do. They're not.
You're gonna have to get some flack.
Here's the thing. I understand it. I borderline accept it. I get it. And I understand why people love the Beatles. I just don't. It's not that I'm saying that they're overrated. Like Beatlemania, what they did to music, what they popularized, and the sound of so many of the bands that I love were heavily influenced by the Beatles. I thank them for that.
Matt, what's more overrated, the Beatles or Jaws?
The Beatles, okay? Don't. Now you're just baiting me into questions so you can send it out that I said the Beatles are overrated. Jaws is a cinematic masterpiece that I will not stand for slander on this show about. Not an ounce. The Beatles, on the other hand, though, I'll listen to some slander. That's fine. I texted this to Bill yesterday. I go, the Beatles didn't make my Spotify Wrapped. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. I'm not saying they're all bad songs. You know, Bang Bang, Maxwell Silverhammer. Octopus's Garden is a pretty good song. But a lot of them, I'm just kind of like, yeah.
So what's your vote for group 4?
Probably Queen.
Okay.
I love Bob Seger, but Queen is...
I would go Bob Seger.
Yeah. Oh, I trust me. I'm a big Bob Seger fan.
Yeah.
Big Bob Seger fan. Eagles...
Kind of, they're talking about overrated.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but you can go ahead and say it.
No, I mean, Hotel California is cool, but like...
Those shoes, you ever heard Those Shoes? Crank that up in the car on the ride.
They're like
good jam.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Eagles guy. I'm not the biggest Queen guy either. Matter of fact,
Queen is very good. Like I think Queen is very.
I'd say they're more overrated than the Beatles.
Stop that. No, you do not believe that.
Queen is way more overrated than the Beatles are. That's that's crazy, Matt. That's a crazy
Freddie Mercury.
We're going to tweet that out.
Freddie Mercury is arguably the greatest, and that's me with Robert Plant and Jim Morrison and a lot of legacy. Freddie Mercury is arguably the greatest frontman of any band ever. Better than Lennon and McCartney. Better. That Freddie Mercury's voice. Go watch them at Live Aid. Sing Bohemian Rhapsody live, and you're going to tell me
Bohemian Rhapsody is the most overrated song in
Stop
history.
That is not true.
Bohemian Rhapsody is the most overrated song in history.
No.
Yes,
No,
it is.
no.
People act like that's like gospel. Like that is the most overrated song in history.
I think Hotel California might be it, but
that's all.
And I'll admit this. I will admit this. As a giant Zeppelin fan, that Stairway to Heaven isn't even their best song.
That's a
so I will
great
listen to
song.
that being overrated because a lot of
Great
people
song.
think Stairway to Heaven is the greatest song ever written. That's not even their best song. It's Kashmir, by the way.
That's a good one.
It's a great song.
Led Zeppelin.
Go to Celebration Day, the last time that Zeppelin was, Zeppelin was live. And dude, that version of Kashmir, I listen to it once a week. So good. We're way out of time now. We'll debate this continuing tomorrow. Queen better win that. Queen had better win that.
No, I'm about to actually tweet from the show come out. What's more overrated, Queen or the Beatles?
Do you want to do that on 2 for Tuesday next week?
Yeah, we will save it.
Put that down for 2 for Tuesday. There's only one answer. We got to go.
We got to get out of here.
Bye. See everybody. All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Cavs. Get it done. Take it easy.